tonight I thought I would hop on over and let you know what we've been talking about over in the group. Some questions have come through my email as well from members of the Preschool Teachers Are Superhero free Facebook group. And one of those questions is, how do you get kids to clean up? Right? We've talked here on Facebook Live before about what happens on the first day of school, three goals every teacher should have on the first day. But how do you get them to clean up? Because in preschool, we have lots and lots of toys, right? Or hopefully we have, well, we call them learning materials, but the kids might call them toys, right? So I thought we would start tonight off by talking about how do you get kids to clean up, okay? So the first tip I'm going to start off with, hi Angel. Thank you for sharing. The first tip I want to start off with is the tubs, whatever you want to call these, containers, tubs, baskets, whatever you have on your shelves to hold your learning materials. So those tubs, baskets, whatever you have, need to be clearly labeled. So here on this particular tub, I'll hold it up closer so you can see it. I found these nifty little sticky pockets in the Target dollar spot. They had them last year at back to school and this year too. So I have quite a few now. The only problem is it's a little hard to pull them out once you get them in. So I think you need to notch the front just a little bit so that you can slip them in and out more easily. Let's see if I can grab this one. So there you go. So you can see how they slip in and out. They are not easy for me to get in and out, and my kids have never really had a problem taking them out before, because I've used the commercial ones from teacher supply stores before as well. So you want to label your bins, tubs, whatever you have on both ends so that no matter which way they put it back on the shelf, they have a 100% chance of being correct. Set them up for success, right? So everyone's probably asking, where in the world do you get the little labels? Because that's something they have been asking a lot over in our free Facebook group. So I wanted to let you know that these labels that you'll be seeing on the tubs tonight, they're available as a bonus with my Organize for Success webinar. So Tom will drop a link to that. All of my webinars come with a bonus bundle of free things that you can only find in my store. This one happens to be an exclusive freebie, so this is not offered anywhere else outside of that webinar. So center tub labels, they're already done for you. Let's look at some of them here. So we've got the writing center labels, tub labels, so you can see all the different writing center labels are there. The words are in a nice clear font. Those are all photos. I took the photos with my phone in most cases. And you can see here, these are all the different pictures. So there's 10 pages in this, and each page has 6 pictures for a total of 60 labels. But if you're savvy enough and you have enough time, you can go ahead and make your own. Just open up a Word or a PowerPoint doc and take some photos, send them to yourself, and insert them into your document, add some text. Super easy, but I've done all the hard work for you if you want to grab these as a bonus from my Organize for Success webinar. That webinar is full of other tips and tricks as well. This is the Math Center. So we've got all the different math and the different literacy things on these printable labels. You probably want to print them on cardstock and then laminate. I don't like to show things on screen that are laminated because they tend to glare. So I printed these off just to show you on screen tonight so there wouldn't be any glare. Of course, you're going to want to label your Play-Doh stuff, your Science Center. Everything has a label. Everything. If it doesn't have a label, they don't know where to put it. So that is my very first tip, is to label all of your bins and tubs on both ends, okay? This is how to get your kids to clean up. And okay, so that's the prep, the setting the stage part, right? So that's not going to teach your kids how to clean up. That's going to set the stage for success. So what happens when the kids are actually there, right? And you need to get them to clean up. So what we do is, and a lot of this is in my book. I don't know if you know, I have a book over on Amazon. It's called A Fabulous First Year and Beyond, a practical guide for pre-K and kindergarten teachers. And I lay out step by step how I introduce every center along with a script and everything. So this is just an excerpt from that. So the first thing you're going to do when it comes to introducing centers to your kids is you're going to open those high interest centers first, because when they come in, they're like zombies, right? They want to go right for dramatic play and blocks, and they want to go right for it. So you want to make sure that you set them up for success. Open those high interest centers, because if you say, oh, we can't go there today, first we're going to learn how to play with, I don't know, the alphabet stamps. Boo! They will not like that at all. So you're going to want to make sure that those places that they can see and that they know they're going to be, you know which ones are the high interest. It's usually dramatic play, blocks, Play-Doh and sensory. Those things are going to be really, really hot, and the kids are going to want to go there. So open your high interest centers first, but I never just say, okay, you can go and play, right? So we have to set the kids and ourselves up for success. So we started out by labeling our tubs, and you have that printable over that printable bonus over in the Organized for Success webinar. You're going to open those high interest centers. So think about how you want to do that. You're going to take the most time in the high interest centers because they are often the hardest to clean up, right? Think about the dramatic play center and the block center. Do those take the longest to clean up? And sensory makes a mess, right? So those take a little longer to clean up. So you want, if you set your kids and yourself up for success and you take the time up front to introduce it correctly, then everyone will be successful, right? So open your high interest centers. In my case, it's usually almost always blocks, dramatic play, Play-Doh, and sensory. Those are the places that the kids will be the happiest to go to on the first days of school. And then the next tip, and this is where a lot of teachers take a wrong turn, so listen up and make sure all your friends know, is that they have out too much stuff on the first day of school. And so what makes cleanup difficult to teach kids in the beginning is if there's too much stuff to clean up, right? So for example, these are some things here from my Alphabet Literacy Center, right? And I just took out 3 things that I might have out on the first day of school. Now, if you teach 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds, you might have different things out because those children have different needs. But most of what I talk about here on the show is normed for 4-year-olds. Hey, Lynetta, thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. So here is something that I almost always put out on the first day. It's really easy for the kids to figure out what they're supposed to do with it. It's intuitive for most of them because it is little cars. Okay? All kids love cars, right? But the little trick is that on top of each car, I've written a letter. Okay, that's the little trick. And then I have these free printable letter tracing mats, and you can grab these over on Pre-K Pages. I forgot to give Tom a link, I'm sorry, but it's in the store under freebies. You can get this there, or it's also the featured freebie in my Teachers Pay Teacher store right now. But there's upper and lowercase, full page and half page of these. So you can download these and print them out and use them with your little cars. I got these little cars. You can get them in the party supply section of Walmart. They're cheapy little plastic cars. If you have your own children, raid their stash while they're asleep. I just need these for the first day of school, honey. You don't mind if I write letters on them, do you? Bye-bye. So all of the little cars. So there's 26 cars in there, right? And they pretty much understand that cars need to drive. So I did this on the first day with my 3-year-olds, and they did really well with it. They knew that cars drive, and all I had to do was show them the papers and say, can you drive your car on here? These are letters. Do you know any letters? And so I kind of did an informal assessment as they went over and played with these. Pretty much they didn't want to stop though. So they got it. I don't normally laminate things I show you on the screen because they glare. So this one is not laminated, but it has been played with and it's well loved. So laminate them. But I don't laminate things I show on the screen because it's hard to see. Okay, so I would have this out on the first day. Cars are very high interest. School is fun. That's the message that we're sending to our kids, right? And I might have out this one. I'll introduce it before I let them have at it. And so this is my box of magnetic letters. And see, my magnetic letters. Now, if your kids are younger, you're not sure if they're still mouthing things or whatever, then don't do this one on the first day. So pick your activities according to your age group. But this is my little doggy. I have a whole blog post about this and a free printable that goes with him. I wouldn't use that free printable on the first day though. He has a magnet on his nose, so I just glued a magnet on there. And now he can eat the letters, right? I would put them in the bowl. I do have a dog bowl here, so I'd put some letters in the bowl and let the kids use the dog to pick up letters from the dog bowl. This is super fun. So usually I'll have several dog bowls in here, and they can pour the letters into their bowls, and I'll have more dogs and they can play with that. And then I can also do informal assessment and say, what letter does your doggy have? Do you know that letter? No, that's the letter B. That stands for Brianna. And Brianna's our friend. She's right there. That's one of our new friends. Stuff like that. So I might have this out on the first day. It's always high interest, and I haven't done a lesson about it yet. I haven't read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. I haven't done any of that, but I need things that are intuitive for the kids, that are super high interest and engaging. So I'm going to pick carefully, and then I'm going to put my old standby here. These are really heavy. These are my alphabet lacing beads, and they're round. They're not a choking hazard for 4-year-olds. I think they're large enough. But if you have choke tube, definitely test them. But I love these. They're this very sturdy, rubbery vinyl stuff, and they're lacing beads. So I would have this out on the first day, and this is pretty simple. Kids usually pick up on the lacing stuff right away, and thank you, Judy. They can start lacing the letters, and you can do your informal assessment and say, oh, look, I see you just laced an orange letter. So maybe you're looking at their color knowledge. And what would you like to put this one on next? What color is that? Just informal, just getting a feel for what they know. I'm not writing anything down or anything, but you can just engage and interact with them that way, and they'll just be focused on stringing the beads. Honestly, my kids, when I introduced this, they were kind of like, don't care about the laces. I'm just gonna line these up in circles and lines. They were having a good old time. They didn't care about the lacing part. These are the 3 things I would have in my alphabet center on the first day of school, if I was to introduce the alphabet center on the first day, which I don't, but this was the closest center to where I'm sitting right now, so I chose it. And so I might just have these 3 things out. There are 26 letters of the alphabet, and there's 26 cars in here, so there's plenty of room for several kids to play. I'll have several dog bowls and dogs. There's plenty of room for kids to play there. And there's plenty of beads and laces. So there's lots of stuff, even though there's only 3 tubs, okay? So I'm going to select my materials wisely. I'm going to make sure they're really intuitive. They don't need a lot of introduction or explanation to the kids. They're just going to be high interest, engaging things. So these are the 3 things of the things that I own. Now you might have different stuff, but if I was to introduce my alphabet center on the first day, these are the 3 things I would pick. I wouldn't introduce my writing center on the first day, but when I do introduce it later on, I would probably choose the whiteboards, the dry erase whiteboards, And I would probably, it's over here, so I'm looking at it. I would probably introduce just crayons and markers and the different papers. That's enough to keep them highly engaged. Hey, Priscilla, glad you like it. Okay, so have as little out as possible, just enough to keep the kids engaged in that center. Not too much that it overwhelms them at cleanup, because when I introduce a center, and I'm going to get to that in a minute and how I do that, I'm going to let the whole class play with those materials for a few minutes while we practice gradual release. And that brings me to the next one. So we're modeling gradual release in centers when we're introducing them to children. So what we're going to do in gradual release is the I do, we do, and then you do it. So first, what I'm going to do when I'm introducing the centers to the kids, and again, this is all in my book, Fabulous First Year and Beyond. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show them the center. I'm going to say this is called the Alphabet Center, and we have some toys here that I'd like to show you. Would you like to see the toys? You would? Okay, let me show you what's inside. Now, after I've shown you what's in the tubs, and we're gonna play with them a little bit together, and then I'm gonna watch you play with them, and then we're gonna practice playing with them all together, okay? All right, so I need you to show me that you're ready so that I can introduce the toys to you. And I can tell that Sophia's ready. Sophia is sitting down and her eyes are on me, and she has her hands to herself or whatever it is. I see Sophia is ready, and now Jonathan is ready. Okay, now we're ready to look at the toys. So I'm going to take out the bowl. I'm going to show him the bowl. What is this? Have you ever seen one of these before? It's a bowl. You have a bowl like this for your cat? Do you know any other animals that eat out of a bowl? A dog, that's right. Awesome. Well, I have some bowls in here. And you know what? We don't have any real dogs or cats at school, but we do have these little puppies right here. Can you say woof, woof, woof? There's the little puppy, and he's got something on his nose, and that something is called a magnet. And here I have the puppy's food, and I'll put some of these in the bowl. And now the puppy is hungry and he's going to eat some food. Are you ready? Okay, watch what I do. Let's see what happens. It's going to be fun. What happened? Did my puppy eat the letter? He ate the letter B. There it is. So I would show them that, and I would say, now that my puppy has eaten the letter B, he's still hungry, and he's going to go in and he's going to eat another letter. And look at this letter that he got. This is called an H. Can you say H? Yay! So I'm introducing that to them real quick, and then I'll say, okay, now you've seen me do it. I am going to let two of my friends who are listening, I'm going to let two of them do it, and you're going to watch, and you're going to tell me if they're doing it the right way, okay? So can you keep your eyes on whoever you picked, Gabrielle and Sophia? And Gabrielle and Sophia, will you come up here? And I'm going to put this down on the floor, and I'm going to say, here's a bowl for Gabrielle, and here's a bowl for Sophia, and I'm going to put some letters in there. I'm going to give them each a dog, and I'm going to say, are you ready? And they'll say, yes. And I'll say, okay, everybody watch, make sure they're doing it right. Okay, ready, set, go. And then we watch them play for maybe 2 minutes. And sometimes the kids that are up there, like Sophia and Gabrielle, are like, what's this? This is crazy lady. Yes, Priscilla, there's a magnet glued to the nose. And then when they're done, I'm going to say, okay, everyone, let's give Gabrielle and Sophia a round of applause. They did a wonderful job. Can you put the dogs and the bowls back in the basket or whatever you want to call that for me? Yes, thank you. Okay, let's see if you're ready to do it. Okay, so I'll ask them, do you think you're ready? I'll go around and ask a few kids, do you think you're ready to play with the dog in the dog bowl? You do? Well, I'm going to be watching and we're going to see if you can do it. Do you think you're ready? You are. Okay, so then I'm going to let a few more kids do it, and then I'm going to introduce something else, And then I might put those 2 tubs on the floor and just let all the kids try it. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to watch you now. And I'm going to see if you know how to do it. And I'm so, yay! Maybe now that we know how to use everything at the ABC Center, we can learn a new center. Of course, we're going to get up and transition and do songs and movement in between all that. I'm not going to go into another center now because they are, it's not going to be, you're not going to be able to hold their attention for that long. Okay, so we practice gradual release. I do, we do together, and then you do it and I watch. Okay, so that is how you would introduce each center. So you're not going to do every center on the first day of school, right? Because that whole thing that I just acted out, now I talked in between things to explain it to you and all that, but that's going to be like a very short period of time. So you're not going to have a lot of time to introduce a lot of centers. So I might get to 2, maybe 3 on the first day, and I don't do them all at the same time. Like I'll do 1 and then we'll stop and we'll do some music and movement. We'll stop for whatever it is we're going to do next, and then we'll come back. So I'm not following my real schedule on the first day of school. Like we're not having, a full-blown circle time, and we're not having, full-blown centers or anything like that. We're kind of just parceling it out really slowly. The next day I'm going to review those 3 centers that I introduced today, because we really want to set the kids and ourselves as the teacher up for success. Okay, so far we've talked about putting the labels on each end of your tub, right? So that you can set the kids up for success, so they know exactly where all of the materials go. They know that the dog bowl and the dog go in here, as well as the magnetic letters. And then there's a matching label on the shelf, okay? Everyone always asks me, how do you attach the labels to the shelf? And again, that's a hard one. Some people put these on the shelves and then they stick the things inside. Some people use contact paper, packing tape. It's really going to depend on your situation. I've used all of those before. And I found the one that's most effective is packing tape. The contact paper doesn't stick as well as it used to back in the day anymore. They've changed the formula, so it peels off really easily. And these little label thingies, they're hard to pull out when you're pulling them away from yourself. So if you've got them on the shelf and you're pulling, it's hard to do that. So they stay down great, but they're hard to change out that way. So I just do packing tape, and then if I need to get them off, I glue gun them off. So that was the first step we talked about, was labeling the tubs. Opening your high interest centers first, because those kids are going to want to go there on the first day of school. And if you hold them off and say, no, 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 we can't play with the blocks today because first we have to learn about the writing center, boo, hiss, they're not going to want to do that. If they know that you have blocks and they know that you have a dramatic play center, it's kind of hard to hide the dramatic play center because there's like a refrigerator and everything. They're going to want to go there. So give them what they want, but set them up for success. And then have as little out as possible. So like in the dramatic play center, I'll have 2 baby dolls. Sometimes they're naked. And that's because they will take off the clothes and then they will not be able to put them back on. And I'm just like, we'll add clothes to the babies later, but for now they're naked. And then they don't care. And then I might have like 3 plates and a few pieces of fruit, and it's just very basic. And I'll have some of the basics in there as well, like some board books and things like that, and then the furniture, of course. And I just keep it very basic because it's really hard to clean that up. So have as little out as possible. And I showed you the 3 things I would choose for my alphabet center for that first beginning of the year time. Then we talked about gradual release. I do, we do together, and then you do, and how I would practice that with the kids. And then we're going to practice. So after I introduce the first center, and over the following days, I gradually open up all the centers. I'm going to follow that same routine. I'm going to follow that gradual release model. I do, we do together, and then you do as I introduce each center. So all of that said, that's not all that you need to do to have a successful cleanup time. You need to have some kind of a signal, right? There has to be a signal to start and end your cleanup time. That signal that you use is up to you. Now, over in the Teaching Tribe, we do have a power hour, which is what we call our monthly trainings with me. We have one called Tranquil Transitions. And in there, we cover in depth what transitions are, how they work, why they're so very critical to get right from the very beginning, and lots of tips and tricks for making transitions work for you. But two of the transition tips, thank you, Becca, two of the transition tips that you're going to, or the cleanup tips you're going to want is that you need to signal the cleanup. So you need to have a signal, whatever your signal is. It can't just be clean up. It's time to go, hurry up. I think we all know that. But have a very clear signal. Some teachers like to use music. I found very effective in the beginning of the year just to sing a very simple clean up, everybody clean up, clean up. Just a simple chant. They really respond well to that. And then there's all kinds of other tools you can use. The only thing I suggest you don't use or that you stay away from is turning the lights on and off unless you're working with hearing impaired students, in which case you probably will need the lights. But if your students are not hearing impaired, turning the lights on and off is very, very scary for little kids, especially in the beginning of the year. And we don't want to do anything that will turn them off to school. No pun intended. And then the last thing you're going to want to do to make sure that your cleanup time is successful, and I showed this to you yesterday as well, and that is your picture schedule. I still haven't found my recess card, but it exists, I promise. And the picture schedule is something that, of course, our Teaching Tribe members have access to 24/7 over in our vault, our printable vault, printable paradise, as we sometimes refer to it. And then, of course, it's also for sale in the Pre-K Pages store. It's editable, so you can add your own words or your own language or whatever you want to call it. If you don't call it circle time, if you call it morning meeting, whatever you want to call it, you can put it in there. So what I would do, my clip is on the wrong side here. So in my case, let's pretend that centers come just before recess. So what I would do when it's getting close to time to clean up, you're going to want to give them a 5-minute warning. And that 5-minute warning is 5 minutes, clap, 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 clean up, 5 minutes to clean up. We don't want that, but you can have like a visual timer, and you might start your timer at that point and say, okay, we have 5 minutes until it's time to clean up. You can do fancy things where you can ask Alexa, if you have one of those little dots, you can ask her to set a timer for 5 minutes, things like that. But what I'll do is I'll move closer to my schedule where I have put my clip to indicate what we're doing right now. And as sometimes after the kids learn the routine, it's so funny. They'll be like, where's she going? What's she doing? Oh, she's going to move the clip. And then they start tapping all their friends. She's moving the clip. Start cleaning up. She's going to move the clip. And I'm like, I haven't moved the clip yet. Sometimes I'm just walking across the room to walk across the room. And I'm like, it's okay. But then when I move the clip, we always sing this little song. So we'll go up here since there's this picture's missing. So I'll sing the song. Na, 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 na. Hey, 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 recess time, or whatever time it is. And the kids know that's time to clean up. And then I'll do my signal as well. But having that picture schedule in place is really, really helpful. So this is an editable, printable you can get as a member of the Teaching Tribe, of course, or over on the Pre-K Pages store. So you're going to want to have your picture schedule. So it's not so much to indicate when it's time to clean up, but to let the kids know that there's something comes next. Kids need to know what comes next so they can feel safe and secure, right? Okay, let me catch up on the comments real quick because I can't, there we go. I can't see them as well on the phone at this distance, but it looks like my Facebook app is, there it is. Okay, good, and I have the sound down. Okay. Heather says she loves this idea. Thank you, Heather. Oh, thank you for reminding me, Vicki. I showed the board last night, but I told you guys that I wanted to add these little reserved for signs on there. So people have been asking over in our free Facebook group, what do you do to decorate your bulletin boards for the beginning of the year? And so I like to go with a very clean, no fancy bulletin board type theme. I want the kids' work to be central, but I don't have any work to put up yet. So here, this one is one of those like fancy reserved for. It says reserved for Gabrielle. This one doesn't have anyone yet, so we usually don't get our class list till like the day before. So it might just say new friend until we get reserved for Noah, reserved for Liam. So that's what that is there. Thank you. I just made those really quick. Karen says she announces they're about to clean up and then they sing. Thank you, Karen. Oh, the train whistle. That's a fun one. Yes, you can take pictures of the kids to make your own cards as well. Knowing what, here, Claudia has a really good, thank you, Claudia. She has a really good comment. Knowing what's next gives them motivation to clean up. You got it. That is absolutely right. So I can't, because I'm not viewing as myself there, I can't see the comments, but, so here is the thing. If you would like to get text notifications, so I noticed that not as many people showed up tonight because it's not my normal night to go live. So I'm normally live Mondays and Wednesdays. But this week, just prior to the Teaching Tribe opening, I'm going to be live every day this week at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to get a text to remind you whenever I go live, all you have to do is text to the number 81010, and Tom will put this in the comments. And in the place where you would normally type your text message, you do @ and then PREKPAG, and that's just the identifier of my account there. So don't put the ES on the end is my is my point. So if you text to that number, then you'll get a text notification every time we're live. Of course, it works best in the US. And if you're outside the US, you can sign up for email reminders through that same link. And if you want to know more about how you can teach better, save time, and live more, then you're going to want to check out my membership site called the Teaching Tribe. And we only enroll new members a few times a year. We'll be opening our doors again this Friday, August 4th, to those of you on the waiting list. So if you're not already on the waiting list, you're going to want to put your name on the waiting list so that you'll get the email with the link to sign up early Friday morning. So as soon as it opens, you'll be the first to get in. So what makes the Teaching Tribe so great, right? Well, there are lots of our members here watching tonight, and I'm sure it would be better if they answered, but because I'm on the screen, I'll go ahead and answer and they can chime in below as they see fit. But over in the vault, where all of the paid printables from Pre-K Pages live, so everything that you would pay for at Pre-K Pages is available in the Teaching Tribe vault to download 24/7 at your fingertips as a member. It's valued, all the printables there are valued at $891. It's not what you pay though. That's just the value of what's in there. That's the value of what you get. Then we have 2 trainings a month. Each one comes with a certificate of attendance. And Tom will drop a link for you below so that you can see a list of all the printables that are currently in the vault, and we add new ones every month. And then the trainings, Tom will also drop a link so you can see a sneak peek of all the titles of all the trainings we've done so far, and then every month we add 2 more. So you can take a look at those for yourself. And then of course, we have our supportive community, a community of new and veteran teachers, a safe haven for asking and answering questions. The payment options, because I always get asked this, the payment options, we have a monthly option, which is $29. You can cancel at any time. And we have an annual option. It's $290, so you're paying for 12 months of membership, but you only have to pay the 10-month price. So this is a complete steal for the price. So if you want in, make sure to get your name on the list. We'll be opening the doors Friday, August 4th. And I hope that you got some ideas that you can take away and use in the classroom this year to help make cleanup time better for you and your students. So thanks a lot for watching. Once again, I'm Vanessa Levin from Pre-K Pages, coming at you live here on the Facebook page. And I'll be back tomorrow night at 7 Central, 8 Eastern with another hot topic. Talk soon. Bye.